So, what do you think has been the biggest? What's the biggest difference in your childhood to your kid's childhood, from growing up in New Orleans and your whole all your family situation to how your kids are raised now?
Oh man. Well, I'd say the biggest thing is that we have both parents there, so that helps. Not
So
having
you're I know your dad died when you were what
22.
22, but they didn't live. He didn't live with you as a kid.
He did until about 11, but he like wasn't ever around, kind of thing.
I gotcha.
He lived there, but he wasn't like there.
Right.
I did have great uncles, so I did have like some really good like dude figures in my life, and my grandfathers, especially my papa, my mother's father. So I had some good grown up things, but they don't know the struggles. Unfortunately, they like even just last night, the twins were, they played around to 18 yesterday because they're getting into golf now, and they wanted to play today. They wanted to play Saturday. They want to play Sunday. I'm like, guys, like, it's not terribly expensive because like they get junior rates, so it's like $25, $30 a round. But unfortunately, they just believe money kind of grows on trees.
But still, $30 a day is when I was a kid. Like that'd be like going to the movies every day. Like you didn't have that luxury.
No, not at all. And my mom and the kids don't understand like to get out of the house and go do shit, go hang out with friends. And now they hang out with friends just on video games that they can do online together, instead of like going to the houses. They started to do a lot better job of, like, when they go to people's houses, they'll bring the knee hockey and they'll go downstairs and play that and that fun stuff. But the biggest difference is just, having two parents is kind of fun. And I would say another big difference is I have a pretty big and very tight family down in New Orleans, and up here it's just us. So our family is our friends up here. So people like yourself, people like our neighbors in the neighborhood, and people that we the kids are growing up with, like the Sheelys and the DeVores and other folks like that. So they've become our family because we only get to see our actual family like a couple times a year.
Do they have, I guess, and they don't have any cousins that are like around here?
No, we have literally nobody, unfortunately.
You probably had a lot of cousins growing up too.
Yeah, a lot of cousins. Yeah. We still hang out when I go down home. Like we hang out for Christmas and all that fun stuff. So that's a huge difference, and even Holly's parents, she's an only child and she has a very small family. So she also, being an only child, she doesn't really understand like three boys and like the loudness that is our house and all that fun stuff. But, even her parents have moved to Tennessee. So there's like at one point they did live about an hour away in Martinsburg, West Virginia, but they decided just, for their own sake, they needed to move to Tennessee, all that fun stuff. Great. That's where we're going to be moving in a couple of years, so I'm pretty pumped about that. But yeah, man, it does suck a lot of times not having family up here, especially when maybe both of us need to go somewhere, either taking trips or something. You gotta fly people in, and you're like, I'm flying my mom in. I get to see my mom for like one of the days that she's here because I'm like, I gotta go.
Like, thanks, Mom. See
so I gotta go. But I'd say that those are some of the biggest differences between the two. How about yourself?
I mean, it's almost identical. Yeah, I mean, same thing. But it's just me and my little brother. My dad, I saw him every other weekend or so, but he didn't live with us. So it was just me, my mom, and my brother. I had a lot of cousins, and we have a big family, and so all of that is very similar childhood.
You do a big Thanksgiving at your house every year, right?
My mom's one of 5, and then my grandparents are like one of, I don't know, 8 or 9 or something. So there's a lot of. We used to have a huge family reunion, which we still do, not as consistently, but in Illinois and Indiana, with seems like hundreds of people. But we have most of my immediate first cousins, aunts and uncles are all here in the Northern Virginia area. We've had a couple that have moved. I got a cousin that moved to Colorado, but Thanksgiving there's usually 30 of us or so. So it's cool, and we try to, like, I grew up playing with my cousins, and we don't have cousins for our kids that are like right in town. They're about an hour away, so we just try to make sure they're always engaged in birthdays and birthday parties and stuff like that because cousins are cool. But
yeah.
but it's a very different. I think for my kids' lives are completely different than mine. I mean, like to your point, 2 parents in the house, which I think the weird thing, just as a dad, not necessarily having a dad in my home, is that like half the time I'm like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Not that if I did have a dad in my home that he would know what he was doing, you know.
Right.
But I do like question myself a lot with that, just because like I don't have that experience that I did, just like you have awesome uncles, and you know, my Uncle Jeff like took me hunting and stuff all the time, because people are like, how'd you get into hunting? Is your mom? My mom also went hunting with me too, but like I've never been hunting with my dad, which is a weird thing. As much as I am into the outdoors, that wasn't his thing. But yeah, no, my kids, they've got, I don't know, they're spoiled. I try to be like, all right, how do you raise children to not be a-holes? But then at the same time, we have the means to give them a toy or a dirt bike or whatever it is. Like, why wouldn't you? It's their childhood. They only get one childhood, so why not make it awesome? I know you do the same thing with your kids. So there's like I don't know, there's a weird balance between trying to give your kids the best life ever and also teach them to turn out like us, where we're driven and entrepreneurial and, you know, want to go make something of the world and not kind of just be lazy and complacent. There's I don't know, there's definitely not a playbook to run, but I definitely question it.
Even last night, the Twins, because they love hockey still, all that, but they're getting really into golf. And, you know, these little bastards, they've played probably 10 rounds or less in their entire lives, and they're already shooting in the 80s.
That's crazy.
And I don't think once I've ever shot in the 80s. And it's super humbling. But and a lot of it is just them. The other thing I like is that they're using technology to better themselves. Like, they've only used and watched YouTube videos.
Oh, okay.
Of how to hit the ball, how their hands should be, where their feet should be. Like,
it's a good point. Like, as when we were kids, like even learning to swing a baseball, like the baseball bat, the only time you'd ever have somebody correct you was if somebody was watching you, or, you know, you were at practice or something. But kids can go and like watch videos on how to fix things, and they can film themselves.
Right.
That's the other thing too, is that there's a camera and everything now.
Yeah, and they can use that to then, because they do that for our games. Like, we use this thing called Huddle, which a lot of football teams use, a lot of different sports use, and hockey uses it as well. And like for Hogan being a goalie, it literally clips every save that he has, every goal that he gives up, and then it gives you this spray chart of where, like, okay, his right blocker high, he might have 90% save rate. His right blocker low, he might be 67%. So that tells the goalie coach, fuck, I need to work on his low blocker side, because he's giving up shit too much, right?
Well, I guess when you get into maybe at that age already, but your competitors are probably watching that same footage and be like, this is where you need to shoot on Hogan,
Absolutely.
right? I assume that they're...
Yeah, well, they can't like log into our Huddle and get all the clips that we get, but they can see our videos. And then
they probably got the same
similar to what high
technology.
school football does, you know. And back in the old day, they used to trade VHS tapes the week before and get you, you know, all that fun stuff. And actually, speaking of high school football, this past Saturday night, had a couple friends over, and might have had a couple of wine,
couple
cocktails,
bottles of wine.
And one of the guys that we were talking to, this guy Tito, shout out, he has a regular job, but he also does offensive work. I think he's the offensive line coach for Riverside High School around here. And so we started talking. I was like, man, one of the things I miss, like, is high school football and like being able to do it. And he's like, well, why don't you come like help our quarterbacks out? And I'm like, that would be awesome. You know, 3 bottles in, I'm like, man, that sounds amazing. Let's go do it. You know, and then I'm like, and then he sends a text like, hey, kind of, were you serious about doing that? I was like, shit, like.
I know you say you want to do that.
I do, but that's a big time commitment, you know. And I'm like,
that is a big time commitment.
It's
every day.
It's every day, and it's like 5 to 7 every night. 7:30. There's probably film study I'd have to do. My kids are still playing hockey, so I'd be traveling. I wouldn't even probably get to half the games because they're traveling for. I'm not going to not go to my kids' game. So it's a good idea in theory. I don't know if I.
You were just telling me the other day. I think you'd have to do that once your kids are out of. But then if you're going to move, then you got to, I mean, you can still do it in Tennessee, but you'd have to reestablish that relationship with somebody there.
Right.
But like, how does Dan Nupp do it? I mean, he's got 3 boys and he's high school coach.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how he gets to any of their games or practices.
Q is a saint, but so is Dan. I mean, Dan, he does a lot, right? And at the time, I think it was Miller who was playing, so it was some quality time that he was able to spend with Miller as well. So that was cool. And then Griffin loves football, so he's going to continue to do this. And Griffin's going to be playing all 4 years of high school football,
Right.
And so that'll
Dan will
be
be able
nice.
to coach that.
Yeah, so he'll, and, it'd be curious to see once Griffin's out of high school, like if he continues with it or not. But he's a really good coach, so he has that coach in mind, and his job is flexible enough to allow him, it's not like he has to be there at 4 o'clock right when school ends. He can get there at 5 o'clock, and practice is usually till 7. And I'll be honest with you too, like these practices they're completely different than what I'm used to.
Yeah.
Like when we grew up, you practice in pads 3 days a week. And then maybe you would do shorts and shoulder pads and helmets on Wednesday, maybe. If you had a bad week, you're having 3 days of full pads. And then Thursday is usually helmets only because that's the day before the game and then you play. But and then nowadays, these kids can't even tackle because they don't practice tackling.
Really?
Like,
Are they out of pads most of the week?
they are usually not in pads, or if they are in pads, they're not like practicing full on like collisions and how do you hit and how do you tackle.
Not playing Oklahoma?
Not playing Oklahoma, dude. And it's like honestly, they're just softer now.
Yeah.
Like there's still some kids who are just ballers, who are just animals.
Well, the NFL as a whole has gotten a lot softer.
Oh yeah. The targeting penalties you get in college, and now they are changing the rules a little bit to try to soften them because they are just being such bitches. Like there was this one hit I remember Whit Weeks got for LSU. And yes, he did launch himself, but he didn't like crush the dude. It wasn't true helmet to helmet. He didn't the guy wasn't hurt. And they called him for targeting and he's out of the game. 3 plays into the fucking game. Our best player on defense. You're like, what the fuck? So and I do appreciate the concussions and the head traumas and
I like those big ass helmets they wear now.
It reminds me of the game NBA Jam on the game that you would play.
And they had the big heads.
They had the huge heads, and you're like, I guess we're going to that in football.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
It's pretty. It is pretty funny, but yeah, to use technology is.
How do the boys like lacrosse?
They're getting used to it. Garrison just transferred from offense to defensive midi. Still don't know what that means, but apparently it means from a defensive standpoint, if he gets the ball, he can run it up, which he wants to do. So he kind of wants to play defense because he wants to hit people, but he wants to play offense. Hogan just wants to go out there and just hit people because he, as a goalie, he doesn't ever get that opportunity. And so this is allowing him to be athletic, but also just go and just crush people.
Yeah.
And the other night we were playing against Briar Woods, and there was a few hits that I was like, I was like, good job, Hogan. And I know that the football team is going to be asking him to play, but he just can't do it because he now wants to play golf, and golf is a fall sport.
Yep.
And so he'll be playing golf and hockey with Garrison if he makes a team.
Yeah.
Apparently,
I'd keep going on the golf route.
Yeah, 100%. It's
just because, he's already so invested in one potential collegiate level, professional level sport. He ain't gonna be a pro golfer, but he can play golf the rest of his life.
Exactly.
Dude, I played football my whole life, and I've always been just tiny. And it didn't matter so much until I got to high school. Yeah, it didn't matter so much until I got to high school. But I just stopped growing. I was within reason of everybody until junior or sophomore year. But when I was in Little League, me and my buddy Lee, we were middle linebackers, but we were small. But I played D-line a couple times against dudes 3 times the size of me, and I loved hitting people.
Sure.
So, but I always thought lacrosse was kind of stupid. I didn't know anything about lacrosse. I remember I stole a lacrosse ball from a kid on my bus one day, and I didn't know that it bounced. And as soon as I got off the bus, I thought I'd have to bounce it really hard to make it bounce, and I slammed it in front of the school bus. I slammed it, and it just came back and basically almost broke my nose. But
gotcha, bitch.
But yeah, I had some friends that played lacrosse, and I joined the rec league team my freshman year of high school, and made the team and became a captain that year. And I just picked it up super fast. Like I became really good. I just threw it off the wall nonstop. Just got really good with ball handling, and
Makes sense.
and got really good. And played 4 years of high school. It actually wasn't even a high school sport until my senior year. And the thing that I love the most about it, though, is that you could just hit people. Like, I just love that you could hit people, and it was a different type of hitting people than football, so I could, like, have my aggressiveness and still hit people. But I love lacrosse. I wish I had played it starting younger, which I actually haven't even thought of introducing it to my kids, which I should, just because it was awesome. Like, Levy's doing wrestling, which he loves wrestling, and I just took him last Saturday to boxing. There's a boxing class right next to our office at Olympus, and it's like a golden.
Oh, that's right.
It's a legit Golden Glove, New York, Boston boxing coach. He's like, come on, hit him, hit him, hit him. He's awesome. He's so animated. Levy went and he loved it because Levy's like really into punching me, so he's doing that, and he's doing baseball, and he loves basketball. So I'm like, how do you squeeze in another sport? But I don't know. Lacrosse is a cool
play
sport.
Everything, man.
Yeah,
because when they get older, they're gonna. I like that they play multiple sports. Mm-hmm. You should.
I think it's cool that your kids are starting to explore new sports in high school.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like lacrosse and golf. Like to try that in high school is really cool.
Yeah, and Blaine has taken to golf as well. Lacrosse for him is okay, and he loved football. And one thing, and I've noticed this about multiple high schools in this area. They do not do a good job of having your feeder system, which is your freshmen and your JVs, into varsity. They'll play the best kids, which is good, but then you're not playing the kids who could use some time developing.
Yeah.
And then by the time they're juniors, they're not developed enough, and you're like, well, you're not going to play a lot. And you're like, well, you didn't help them develop. You played 12 kids on the freshman football team, and you had 36. And guess what? You have 22 kids now come back. So you lost 12 or 13 kids. And then by the time they're juniors, you lost another 10.
I quit football in JV because I swear to you, 3 of the 5 practices, we stood on the sidelines and watched varsity.
Yeah,
that's all we did. We didn't even play. We were like, they would like throw one of us in there every now and then as like a tackling dummy. But like we didn't have, and it's probably different now, but we didn't seemingly have our own agenda. We were literally just watching varsity, and I was like, this is stupid. And I wasn't going to play much anyways, so it's tiny.
No, and and that is a shame because a lot of kids just don't get the opportunity to grow that could potentially want to get better at the sport and this and the other. But if you see the field in a football game for 3 minutes of a 60-minute game, or I guess in high school a 48-minute game, like this is not fun.
Yeah.
So just like that is something that if I were to go and help with Riverside, which is also weird because my kids don't go to Riverside.
Where is Riverside?
It's right there off of Belmont.
Okay.
Right off of 7 off of Belmont, like not about a mile down off of right off of 7. And my kids go to county, so it'd be a little weird.
You win the game, gotcha, bitch.
Exactly. And then one of my really good friends, Logan Paulson, he is coaching at Stonebridge.
Okay.
So it's like could also have an opportunity to go help at Stonebridge. So it could be, but I would be like, hey guys, we need to develop these kids.
Yeah.
Like the freshmen, let's make sure that they get an opportunity to play in the freshman game, like so they come back as sophomores. Like the greatest thing you can ever get as a coach is your kids wanting to come back to play next year.
Yeah.
Right. If they quit, that means you did a terrible job as a coach.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, in my opinion, that's,
100%.
And one thing that was funny last night, you were talking about, just kids and playing sports and figuring out like what do they want in business, stuff like that. And the twins have kind of figured out like, okay, so they found a couple of local golf week-long camps in the summer. They're about $700 a person. It was pretty expensive. Again, speaking of when we grew up, my mama couldn't afford $700 for a week. Right.
Be like, they're twins. Y'all can just take every other day. They won't know the difference.
Can we get a little discount? But they were like, well, remember y'all, Townsend hockey camp last year was about $3,000 per kid because it was a stay away camp. They had a sleepover camp, yada, yada. And I was like, They're doing the math in their head. They're like,
technically, I'm saving you.
I'm saving. It's like girl math, right? How they?
Oh yeah. They're
know?
like, so I bought $1,000 at Target, but I returned it. Now I got $1,000 gift card.
Exactly.
You're like, no, you still owe me $1,000. That's funny.
Exactly. So what? I'm curious. What was your favorite part about Argentina?
I think so. Well, all right. So to tell why we were in Argentina, so our big hospital customer down in Louisiana, one of them has a charity fundraiser for childhood cancer, and we've gone every year. And of course, it's a black tie event. We wear orange bow ties, and we look like Dumb and Dumber. And we might have had a cocktail or two before we got there most times. And we tell people now that, like, you and I don't know what it is if we practice a lot, but we got real good at auctions, We're like,
my hand goes up real fast.
Every time.
It's them CrossFit
it's like,
presses,
okay, Yeah, exactly. Every time we tell our wives we won something, they're like, you won something? You dummies. But anyways, so the first item that was up for auction this past season, or this past event, it was a Savannah Bananas cruise, and Billy was sitting down talking to somebody, and I was more so telling Billy that the auction had started, And he's like, yeah, and he like put his hand up, and so I was like, okay, I guess he wants the Savannah Bananas cruise. So I put my hand up, and sold to my dumb ass, and I was like, I don't want to go on a Savannah Bananas cruise.
Not even a little bit.
We tried to give that thing away, and nobody would take it. And then there was an LSU football experience, which was amazing, where we got to have breakfast and dinner with the team. We got to do a tour of the football operations center, which was really cool. We got to go in the locker room. We got to go into the practice facility, which is where the charity fundraiser is this year, which is that's pretty cool.
That's gonna be.
Yeah. And we got to go onto the field. We got to meet Todd Graves, Theo Vaughn. We got to meet Coach Kelly. May he rest in peace. It was a really cool experience. We got to watch the game in the athletic director's suite, and we got to take 2 clients to the game, which was really cool. And we won the game. It was my first ever. It was my first ever SEC football game, which is really cool. And to
do it in Tiger Stadium at night.
Do it in Tiger Stadium at night was awesome. I was like, dude, I need to come back and do this again. So, but the third one, the CIO of the hospital was standing next to us, and we're good friends. And he's like, the next one that went up was an Argentinian dove hunt, and he's like, man, I'd really love to go on that. And I was like, oh yeah. And I saw, we won that one too, which was really cool. Until we went to get the flights and we realized there was 15 hours of travel time. I was like, I thought Argentina was like next to Puerto Rico. I had no idea.
Yeah, a little bit south of Florida.
Yeah, a little bit. No. So anyways, we went to Argentina on this dove hunt. We took the CTO and the CIO of this hospital. And so we had a 12-hour layover in Panama. So we did a little Panama tour, which was cool. And then we got to Argentina.
To see a little canal.
Yeah, there was a canal there. I wouldn't do it again. We took a nap during the movie because we were so tired. But so my favorite part of Argentina, other than shooting doves, was it was cool to see. It's always cool to see another country and to see, like, I was blown away by how vast the agriculture and the land was there. I mean, it was just seemingly millions of acres of soybeans and corn, and I've never seen, not just doves, but I've never seen so many birds in my life. Like there was a 12 or 30 bird flock of doves every 15 seconds. I mean, it was just insane. Whether you're shooting them or not, it was amazing to see. And we stayed at this lodge and had, every time we came back from hunting, they had drinks out for us and cold towels, and the food was really good, the good wine. But my favorite part, I mean, other than taking our clients and spending that good time with them, and also making fun of you with your music selection, but it's probably the food. Baby. The food was really good. I mean, some of the food was weird, like the wine-soaked pear, not my thing, But the meat that was on the grill out in the field, that was some of the best like pork I've ever had.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the food was top notch for the most part. They had like lasagna one night, and I'm like, I'm not a big cheese dude unless,
Yeah, let's explain Billy's cheese thing. So Billy don't like cheese because cheese is gross, unless cheese is on pizza, because then that's delicious. He does not like dipping his chip in cheese, queso. That's gross. But if you put the cheese on the chip, that's nachos. That's delicious. He does not like cheese on his hamburger because cheeseburgers is gross, but he does like grilled cheese sandwiches because that's delicious.
It's so good for you.
And he does not like lasagna because that's got cheese in it.
Yeah.
So,
but I like the little cheese whiz that you put on the Ritz crackers.
oh yeah. So
I mean, look, I think it's pretty normal. You know, if you ask
there's
me,
nothing normal about
I
that.
think, as most people would say, that's fairly normal. But you know, I think, you know, to each his own.
But what was your favorite part?
I mean, I would say getting to know some of the other people, like the guys from Sweden, the guys from Laredo, Texas, but really getting to know those bird boys. I'll tell you right now, Jake's bird boy, I want to hire him simply to be the hype man.
Rambo?
This dude hyped up Jake. Like, it was like he would say he's number one.
My bird.
And it would, like, after every shot, be like, "Ooh, gotcha. Ooh, you got him."
100%. Every time Billy would shoot, he'd be like, "No, you do not kill that bird." He's like, 1 out of 500, no good, no good.
Yeah, so those guys made it like so much more fun. And you know, letting me shoot from the hip, that was amazing because I'm not a big hunter, dude. Like, it was funny. My shoulders were not hurting as much as y'all's, and y'all had the pussy pads on, but it come to find out it's because I was basically just holding a gun, just like
the gun was hitting you in a different spot every time you shot.
It's like I didn't care. So my bicep weirdly hurt for a little while. He's like, "Well, because you would hold it and your bicep would hit."
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I guess that makes sense, huh? And then once I did start holding it against my shoulder, it actually didn't. It felt pretty good, and I had a little more security. In the gun.
Yeah, started killing some. But you actually did kill a bunch of doves.
I did kill.
I was surprised because when we went, trap shooting, you sucked.
It was terrible.
But you actually killed a bunch of doves.
It does help though. You know, when the clay you're shooting at one thing, but when you got like 50 birds, like it's a pretty good chance you're gonna get a couple.
Shot, yeah.
You know. So I was getting them, and I love that Will loved that I would just yell out, "Gotcha, bitch!"
Gotcha, bitch.
Not even on purpose or trying to be funny. I just every time I'd be like, "Gotcha, bitch!" Just that's what I said. It was fun times.
And Billy played this song that nobody knew who it was. He's like, "Brah, listen to this." And it's like something, 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 some song nobody's ever heard before. And Billy's like, "You're never, ever going to guess who sings this song." One of the best bands, one of the biggest bands in the 90s. And we're all like, no idea. And he's like, "Papa Roach."
Papa Roach, bro.
Papa Roach? I didn't even know they were around in the 90s. Definitely not one of the biggest. So funny.
The biggest.
We learned Will really loves Pearl Jam.
Loves Pearl Jam.
Loves some Pearl Jam. That's good.
Yep.
So we got to do a Pearl Jam concert one day, I guess.
Yeah,
but
that sounds fun.
But yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah, and we got to, talk about LSU baseball. So that was fun. LSU football. Super excited about Lane Kiffin. So I think he'll do very well for us this year.
Yeah, we got the new charity event coming up.
Yeah,
and it's like a British theme. So I think we have to wear like some sort of American flag suits or tuxedos. I'm working on that. And hopefully, Lane will be there, but hopefully he MCs and we get to meet him.
That'd be pretty gnarly. I'm pretty pumped for Baton Rouge General. They got their Raise the Barn.
Oh yeah, that'll be really cool.
That's going to be fun. I'll be able to. That's more my style from a wearing perspective.
What is the attire?
Basically, jeans, boots, and not a t-shirt. Just coming probably like a nice.
You should bring your cowboy hat that's got lava engraved in it.
Oh,
that'd
that's
be pretty
a good
cool.
call. I will. I will 100% wear that. And I've had to recruit some family members because we got a table for 10.
Yeah,
and it's just me.
Yeah,
I'm like, "Hey, anybody want to go with me?"
It's gonna be the snow show.
I got my best friend coming, his wife, and then my sister Rochelle and her husband's coming.
Best friend, your cousin.
Best friend Tad.
Oh, Tad. Yeah, that's
Tad,
right.
Yeah, you know Tad, right?
Yeah.
He my boy has been working for Integy. Literally, we graduated college in May of 2002. He started working with them in June of 2002 and has been working with them ever since.
That's amazing.
Damn. So he got some tenure over at Integy for sure down in New Orleans. But yeah, I'm pretty pumped about that.
Yeah.
And then my aunt has hers in October for St. Tammany.
Oh, cool.
So
what do they do for that?
I wasn't able to go last year, but this year I think I'm going to be able to attend because she gave me the dates this past week, and it looks like it's like in between the most amazing event that's about to happen in the history of the world, and then the swamp tour.
Yeah.
Because it's just a tour, you know, it's not a hunt or anything. So it should be able to be something I could be able to attend.
That's cool.
So that'll be fun. But yeah, man, it is. We got a lot going on this year.
Yeah.
2026.
What are you most excited for this year?
I would say I am most excited to continue down the path of what we have built in 2025, and then just continue to see that trajectory into 2026 and 2027. Like what Doug and Mel have come in and helped us kind of solidify with the visions that we have had, with some of the things that they're able to do from an execution standpoint, and with the amazing team that we already have. Like, I am most excited to see where this takes us. Like, we have some of the most amazing referral partners out there, and they are starting to get a lot more about the value, because we're starting to obviously get a lot more wins with them, and they're like, oh man, you are making a huge impact to our clients. And they're seeing not only just from a savings perspective, but how we're helping them kind of reshape what they're looking to do in IT.
Yeah.
You know, and within the last couple of weeks, you and I have both seen, not only from the VAR perspective, but having deep conversations with our clients about how something as silly as the RAM in these servers and all the things that RAM is put into has just astronomically made these prices just jump to things I would never imagine as a VAR that I would have to be so worried about.
Right.
You're talking orders are now being canceled proactively. So a $4 million order, maybe Cisco is just being like, sorry, I can't actually get that order done at that price. I now have to make that order $8 million.
Yeah.
Could you imagine having that conversation with somebody? Be like,
Yeah.
hey, Mr. CFO, that $4 million PO that you just approved, which is a shit ton of money, sorry, it's now double, maybe triple.
Well, we have that big insurance company out of the Midwest that is. We were working with them on. They've got a multi-million-dollar infrastructure order that they're going to place with a VAR, and we're working with them on the data center that it's going to go into. And
in the UK,
we were getting them pricing as of last week, and the CIO was like, "Hey, sorry, my cost went up 200% on the infrastructure. We got to punt this project, and we're going to renew with what the data center that we're currently in, and we're now talking to them about infrastructure as a service as an alternative, so they can still roll with this project, but it's changing, and we have other customers that the same thing's happening.
Oh yeah, it's real. Talking to some of my friends at Dell, they're like, yeah, it's just insanity. They're even caught off guard. They're like, I mean, they're the OEM, and they're just as caught off guard as some of these other folks. And the industry, it's a big shift, and it's a big change, and it is a big change for procurement. Procurement folks usually are able to negotiate things and get pricing set for 30 days and 45 days. Now they're being asked to make decisions in 3 or 4 days on multi-million-dollar solutions. That doesn't happen in 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
And now, so there's a whole shift now happening with what procurement can do and what IT can do and what finance is going to allow. So some of these conversations are now shifting from, okay, maybe we're done with CapEx and let's go look at, the OpEx model a little bit more. And what does infrastructure as a service look like? How can we do this and not own everything? I remember one of my good buddies at a VAR, he told me, you buy your peaks and rent your valleys. You buy your valleys, rent your peaks.
Yep.
So that, you're not buying at that high watermark to where your infrastructure 60% of the time is just sitting low. You buy your steady stream, and then when you need to go and burst, you do that in the cloud. And now it's like, man, we can't even afford the valley. So like, how do we? So it's going to be fundamentally shifting the way our customers are thinking about doing things. And then in our model, in our world, I think we're now going to be at the forefront, because we're going to be able to share with them, hey, here's the best approach now to this unfortunate problem that we all need to solve for.
Right.
So I'm pretty excited about the challenge, but customers are not like right now. There's a lot of pain happening, and just we need to be ready to help kind of with that pain immediately.
Right. What do you think the immediate opportunity is for somebody like us to help those customers?
I think it's going to be, what can we do from an infrastructure as a service perspective? Because a lot of those infrastructure as a service people that are in our ecosystem, plus even the big ones, the AWSs, the GCPs and so forth, they, for the most part, have a lot of infrastructure already built. And so they're ready to get those consumers and those customers immediately. And that we're just going to need to do that faster. Like we have one of our customers who their North Star is they want to be all in cloud by March of 2028. And this might be accelerating that.
Yeah.
Because they can't afford to go spend 3x what their budget is on infrastructure. That's not going to be a long-term play.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to, like, the pricing of that RAM is not going to be sustainable.
Right.
It's going to come down eventually. I even think, like, why can't we build that in the U.S.? Why is that all overseas?
Mm-hmm.
You know, why can't somebody just build? Obviously, I'm just speaking, you know, and like, hey, just go build $1 billion infrastructure real quick and go build some of these chips. You know, go do that in Ohio, where maybe land is cheaper, Pennsylvania or Mississippi.
Yep.
You know, be a little tough to do in Louisiana with all the swamps. You know,
Mm-hmm.
but you know, you never know.
Yeah. Make them floating.
Just make them floating. Yeah, exactly. Then you could take them from one place to the next.
Yeah, the
you know?
houseboat.
Just go down to Mississippi, you know, and up to Mississippi. You
Yeah,
know?
that'd be cool.
I think it would be kind of awesome. But yeah, for us, I think it's just what are the applications? What is the need? And let's go ahead and get some of those applications where they're continually growing into an infrastructure as a service, and then figure out the CapEx model after the fact.
Yep.
So let's help with that short-term pain, and then let's look at, okay, what is the long-term vision and what's the long-term strategy and what's going to be best for them.
Right. Yeah. It reminds me of that tsunami that hit along when we were at CDW, and there was the shortage.
Absolutely.
And I remember CDW had one of the prioritizations of sourcing that, but it was
It was I'm pretty sure that hurt a lot of the hard drives. If I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And the hard drive just started booming through the roof.
Yeah, nobody could get them.
It came back to earth,
Mm-hmm.
but for a while it was not good.
Yeah.
And you would think, like, these little memory things, they're like,
It shouldn't take that long to make. You should be able to 3D print them by now.
yeah, exactly, dude. Just, you know, go in your backyard and, you know, get a little, like a greenhouse, you know, just go ahead and just
grow
print a couple of
them
things, you know,
chips.
just grow them chips, dude.
Mm-hmm, like a pickle tree.
Exactly. Pickle trees are real, dude. We all know that, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think one of the cool things about the last 2 years or so that we've seen from a growth perspective is the referral partner ecosystem. And like we've put a lot of money into hiring direct dedicated salespeople and cold calling and lead gen. And I think if people, and this is not just the tech community, this is anybody that owns a business. If you want to double your revenue opportunity without hiring more salespeople, without paying a third-party lead gen company, develop a referral ecosystem, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like if you are a real estate agent and somebody introduces you to someone looking to buy a home, pay them 10% of your commissions. If you build homes and somebody introduces you to somebody that wants to buy the home, pay them 10% or 5% or 20% or whatever makes sense of the sale or of your profit. Because now you have a sea of people out there hunting and referring business. There's no better relationship than a warm lead and someone, hey, I know this dude over here. You know, you should work with them. I mean, we've completely formalized it, but we have VARs that we work with. We have different types of consulting organizations that we work with, and we have independent agents. I think last year we paid out, I don't know, $500,000-$600,000 in commissions to referral partners and folks, and it's going to continue to grow. And of the leads that came in the door last year, over 60% of those came from a referral partner versus us having to hire and direct sales. And so that's been a tremendous part of our growth, and it's been cool to see like the big VARs resell our professional services on their paper. Like that's a really cool achievement for us to develop, because there's a lot of companies out there in our space that just kind of broker stuff, and we've moved completely away from that, and we provide, you know, for-fee consulting services, and we put wrappers around everything we do. And I think that makes us look a little different than most companies in this space, but it's been cool to develop a product and services that is so established and mature that large multi-billion-dollar companies can come in and treat us as a subcontractor and resell that to their, multi-billion-dollar companies. That's really cool, and I'm very excited to see that grow. And I think that's another area that we'll be kind of doubling down on for the next few years is really developing out the services and the referral ecosystem.
Yeah, and the services that our customers are now expecting from us is something we're giving at a very high level, and because you have the vision, you have not only the marketing brain, but your vision is like everything that we do has to be beautiful, right? Every PowerPoint that we present, it needs to be top of the notch. Every presentation that we give, every deliverable that we're going to give to our customer, it needs to be just better than it was even the time we did it last week, right? So always continuing to grow, continue to kind of outpace ourselves, and for sure outpace our competition. But what I love about it is it's something that our customers didn't even know that was able to be out there.
Right.
Or that people like us are able to do what we're doing for them because they didn't even know that this channel, this ecosystem really even was invented or involved or evolved. And the fact that we're able to come in and talk to these multi-billion-dollar organizations and make an impact like a Gartner, like a Forrester, like a Deloitte, and these big, huge honking organizations who have, the name out there, that's where Lava is going. We want to be synonymous with just perfection of helping our customers in everything that is as a service. And when you think of as a service, your first thought is, how can Lava help me? Not talking to vendors directly because, we're helping you shorten that cycle. Why are you talking to 10 vendors? Mm-hmm. Right? Like, that's 10 salespeople who are now calling you. Mm-hmm. That's 10 people who are trying to get your business. That's 10 emails that you're going to start getting every single day or every week.
Probably 8 vendors that can't do what you're looking for, and they're lying.
8 of them who are like, yeah, I got you. I could probably do like 95%. I'm going to tell you 100%. And so let's cut out all the noise, right? There's so much noise in IT in general, let's cut that out and let's get to the chase and be like, look, these are the 3 people that can actually do what you got to do. Let's meet with them. We will hold them back. They're not going to communicate with you until we say that they can. So you're not going to start getting cold call from these guys and solicited and so forth. So we're able to kind of quarterback everything. And it's awesome to be on this side of the world because not only are we bringing you the people who can actually deliver, but we are also able to support you whichever route you go, right? And from a project management perspective, from a delivery perspective, and making sure that it's going to be delivered. And, sometimes some people, there's some things that we have to escalate. And because of the relationships that we have with those vendors, we're able to do that for them as well. So our customers feel like we're there for the long term. We're not there just at the point of sale. Yeah. Cool. You bought that storage. Cool. Tell me how it is in a couple of years. Let me come for that renewal. No, we're there for the life of the contract. And it's been awesome because we are there for that life of the contract. We've built just amazing relationships, not only with the vendors, but our customers for sure, because they're now expecting that from us. And it's just,
we have a customer that just had one of their leaders. So the CIO, you were one of the first people that he called when his VP of IT or infrastructure put in their 2-week notice. Yeah. And you were one of the first people that he called because we are leading the charge in helping them with the direction of their network, with their infrastructure, with their voice.
Contact center. Yep.
We're running those projects, and we can help. One, you've been able to help multiple customers with replacing folks because you know so many people. But also, how can we help provide support for the organization while there is a gap in leadership there to still continue to move those projects forward without there being a delay? And that's a pretty cool feeling and a position to be in. It's obviously one that's there's a lot of pressure, and it's a privilege, sure, to be in that role. But that's what we deliver on all day, and it's cool to see. It's cool to see that grow.
Yeah, and it really is all about relationships. And that's what I'm big about. I love making people like me and getting to know me and getting to know people, and just like I don't want it to ever be a vendor-customer relationship, right? When you use the word partner, a lot of people are like, hey, let's partner, let's do this. Like, I truly want you, I want to be on the same side as that customer. when we're negotiating with that ISP, with that MSP, with that UCaaS provider, with the CCaaS provider, our customers truly do feel that we are sitting on the same side as them, because yes, we're paid by those people on the back end, you know, the referral fee and everything. But our job is to get you the best deal out there. And we know what you should be paying because we've done 10 of those this week, right? A lot of times our customers, this is the first one they've done in maybe their career, maybe the second one. But again, we've done 10 or 20 this year. So we already know like what the market is dictating and how we can help you negotiate. What are the T's and C's that you might be able to kind of get out of? Like you just helped one of our customers by going through a very long TIM contract and looking at a couple of specific points that you're like, we are not putting this in front of the customer.
Yeah.
Like they're going to be red line regardless. So why even put it in front of the client?
Yeah.
Let's get it taken out ahead of time. And that then like tells the customer, like we do have their best interest.
Yeah. We're not just recommending the vendors. We're also redlining your contracts.
Right. Literally for you. And as we should, right? Because we know what you can and can't get away with for the most part. And you know, and we love
That's another thing. I don't think people realize how much you can push back on vendors.
Oh yeah.
I think we've learned that a lot over the past couple of years where we're like, no, you can just tell them no.
Yeah.
You know?
You can push back a lot. And I'm super pumped to be chatting with the Green Cabbage folks in a couple of weeks and at one of their summits at Cabbage World, where they're bringing, you know, 500 or so procurement leaders from around the country. And, you know, our topic is going to be kind of centered around, guys, you hold the keys to the kingdom at all times. If an ISP is coming to you saying, hey, you're in a month-to-month right now, we're going to re-rate you if you don't sign this 1 year, 3-year renewal. No, you're not. And if you are, bye, Felicia.
Yeah.
Like, cool. We are in charge as the
I
customer.
am the customer.
I am the customer. Like that meme that you always say.
Yeah.
I am the captain.
I'm the captain now.
I'm the captain now. Like you do not hold. If you're going to raise my rates just because you can, that is not telling me you want to partner with me.
Right.
And if you want to continue to have my business, you're going to stay pat. We're going to continue to maybe allow you to get the business, give you an opportunity, but it's not guaranteed. But if your stance is I'm coming to you, and if you don't sign this on the dotted line when I tell you to, at the price I'm going to tell you to, even though I know my pricing still sucks, no, that's not how this works.
So my question on that is, like, as a company like us that has a 24, 36-month contract with a client, and they say we don't want an auto renewal, or let's say that you got your big ISP that says they don't want an auto renewal. What is as opposed to doing that, or let's say a customer goes out of term, how does a vendor get the customer back into a term if there is no leverage, right? Think about it from our perspective. If we do a 24-month engagement with a client that doesn't have an auto renewal on it, and do we love when it's month to month for the next infinity? Like, what is without just doing discounts every time, because sometimes the service needs to cost more because of inflation and everything else. And I don't know the answer to this, but what do you think is a good solution for that to get the customer back under term?
Well, I think it would be how has the relationship gone? If the relationship is at a point where the customer prefers to be month to month, honestly, that means you're in jeopardy, right? Because they didn't see the value in continuing to do those long-term type of relationships. And so that means we need to fix something. Right. Something is amiss. There's a gap where we need to go. And I think that is an opportunity for us to then kind of maybe reprove the value that we're going to be able to bring to the organization to get them into there. And a lot of times from a vendor perspective, an ISP perspective, an MSP, it kind of holds true for them too. They're maybe, vendor X went month to month, and they're like, look, I'm good with it going month to month, and their pricing is kind of relatively stayed the same. There's no pain to make them make a move. Right. And so once you then put something in the customer's path to give them some pain, AKA sign this 1-year renewal, or I'm going to raise your rates by 20, 30%. Now you've kind of put that customer in a corner. Right. And a lot of times those dogs are going to bite. Right. And so I think for us, if that came to us, and we have Awesome as a service, and our 2-year renewals coming up, and they're like, well, let's just go month to month for a little bit. For me, that just means that, okay, let's make sure those couple of months, like, we're on top of the game, we're doing everything. But what else? What did we miss? That's what I'd be asking the customer. What is making you not want to renew for another 2 years? Because that'll be the tall tale sign of maybe there's some gaps that we didn't even see that we should fix.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So that'd be, my observation would be let's figure out where those kinks are, fix them to then make them comfortable to sign that 2 or 3 year. I will never use the tactic that these vendors are using to be like, oh,
we're gonna raise your rates.
we're gonna raise your rates, because I
think the opposite would be more of what we would do is be like, if you're not under term, then no worries. We'll give you 3-6 months and we're going to stop the service.
Right.
As opposed to trying to charge a customer more. That doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Because I understand needing to allocate resources to committed contracts, and when we have so many customers being onboarded now, we need to make sure we've got the right resources supporting, et cetera. And if a customer, but to your point, if they're not renewing, then find out what the gap is and what are we missing that the customer's looking for.
Yeah.
So
and we help with so much stuff. I mean, we still have these conversations. We have one of our customers who's probably I think they might be our second or third ever client, and we've been working with them for over 6 years, and we've sold them colo before, and we've sold them a lot of other different things before. And I was having a QBR with them the other day, and they're like, yeah, we just started talking to DRT because we needed just a little bit of space in this area and this and so forth. And I'm like, what are we doing? Yeah. Why are we talking to them directly? And the guy's like, oh crap, I
forgot again.
And that happens with VARs. That happens with everybody, right? Like, and it's no fault to the customer.
It's our fault.
It's 100% our fault. It's just always being in front of where are we at? How are we doing things? What's
they're also not an awesome as a service customer.
They're not an awesome as a service customer.
That's exactly why we made that.
So now we need to rectify that, if you will. So it's. That's always the fun part, is making sure our customers know everything you can and can't do. And we'll be the first to say we can't do something too. Like, if you want to, like, I love your line every single call. If you want to buy a box, call your VAR. If the only box that you're going to get from Lava is Yetis and T-shirts.
Yep, exactly. So, yeah, we don't ship boxes.
We don't ship boxes at all.
Nope.
And
Well, what about some events this year we got going on?
Well, there is the massive event that is going to be the event of the events. It's called As a Service World. It is put on by Lava, but it's not really a Lava event. It is going to be a culmination of some of the new age vendors that are out there that are really kind of integrating into the market that customers may or may not have heard of. It's not the 4-letter ISPs that are out there and 3-letter ISPs that are out there. It is something to bring customers together, and it's where customers are going to be delivering the content for the most part.
Yeah,
customers, CIOs, CISOs, they're going to be delivering what is going on in their world, in their industry, and having the ability to network is going to be of kind of the utmost importance. So that event in September is going to be the culmination of a lot of work with our marketing team and our sales team and our operations team, and working with our customers to just deliver the best kind of event that our customers have seen. We want to be known as the event to go to. And this is going to be the start of something super, super different, because it's not going to be your traditional, oh, let me get you Lava's IT Tech Summit and, vendor just vomit of how awesome they are. This is going to be completely different, turning it upside down on its head, and I am super pumped to deliver this year.
Yeah, I'm so stoked. It's I think the vision for As a Service World is to create an event that is exactly like it sounds, bringing all of the global leaders in as a service, from AI to infrastructure to CX to cloud, compute, to bring the world leaders of as a service to one event where customers can demo and experience new technologies, where customers can meet and collaborate and network with each other. It's going to be very exciting. It's a one-day event this year. It'll probably end up being a multi-day event as the conference grows, right here in our nation's capital in Tyson's Corner, right outside of DC. Yep. And we've got We've got an American hero keynote speaker, which is super exciting. We've got just an amazing lineup of speakers already from some of the biggest companies in the world from a CIO perspective that are going to be there. We've got some amazing vendors that are going to be bringing their CIO to the event, which is pretty cool. I don't want to spill all of the secrets, but it's going to be incredible. It's going to be super exciting, and can't wait and to see everybody there. And it's going to be something we do every year, and it's going to be awesome. We are not doing the crawfish boil this year. And that is kind of disappointing, but also a little bit of a sigh of relief because it is such a huge to do. It's a big undertaking. I think that we should bring back the crawfish boil for our 10-year anniversary. I think that'd be a good homage to lava. But
and I promise you, for that one, I will have my family cook them, so we can get some real Cajun, authentic, just down home crawfish. So.
Every year, Billy's like, all right, we're going to get my family, going to cook them crawfish. They're going to be so good. And then every year he like, yeah, I forgot to do that. Or my cousin couldn't make it. And so then we eat the crawfish and they're good. But to a Louisiana boy, they're never good. And so they're not good enough. We do fly the crawfish up from Louisiana. And but it's obviously doesn't feel the same as at home. But every year, Billy's like, it's kind of like when Billy drinks wine. He like, I ain't going to drink as much wine this time as I did last time. And he always does. But it's like he's got to say it before, so
yeah, you gotta.
We did try to get stale cracker, dude. I've hit that fool up on every social channel. I've hit up and I'm like, that's what we got to do.
We got to get
stale cracker. So if you're listening, stale cracker,
come on, bro.
Somebody tag him so we can get him to come to the 10-year anniversary of Lava Crawfish.
Look, you got 4 years to plan. All right, come on, stale cracker. That's as good in advance as you need, right? Yeah, we got 2 other kick-ass events this year too that we're putting on. One here locally. I'll let you talk about that because I want to talk about the alligator swamp tour.
It is a hunt. We shooting alligators.
Right, yeah, we shooting alligators. It is something that we put on the last couple of years. The first year we had a couple of clients. Jake was able to attend. Last year Jake wasn't able to attend, but we had so much interest. We actually had to break it up into 2 days. Yeah, and we had almost double-digit clients attend. And this year we're looking at the same. So we're going to be doing 2 different hunts. This year, too, we've already gotten a lot of interest from a lot of not only female CIOs, female procurement officers who want to come down as well. So we might have a women, like a ladies version and a men's, like, not to separate them or anything. But
well, we do stay in Airbnbs and stuff.
That's the whole point.
Mildly inappropriate.
Exactly.
But, because there's not a lot of hotels in wherever the heck we are. Yeah. Breaux Bridge,
Louisiana. Opelousas, and Catahoula is where we like to go.
Billy killed an alligator last year that was 1 inch bigger than mine, which it was about a Billy. But the other event we're doing a golf event where we're gonna do like a lunch and learn, and then we're gonna have everybody go to one of the, what is it? Is it golf?
The PGA store.
The PGA store. Yeah, and do gift cards. We did something similar last year, where we did a lunch and learn on CX and AI with the Tacovas store, and everybody got a Tacovas gift card to get some boots.
Biggest attended event of the year.
Yeah, well, minus crawfish. Yeah, but so we're doing that. And we've got some other stuff going on. We've got our customer advisory board that we're putting together, which will be cool. It'll be a multi-day event. We've got 10 CIOs on our advisory board and some folks in procurement. So we're hosting them for an event. We haven't exactly nailed down where that's going to be, but that's going to be awesome too.
Oh yeah, it's going to be a game changer for sure. Lava goes big.
Yeah, I guess one of the other exciting things we got going on is starting to get into some higher ed, and we've got a big university getting onboarded right now that I think Billy kind of has to like frown a little bit against.
Not them yet. LSU. Don't be chatting, bro.
Yeah,
but it's going to be fun. They have a lot of opportunities for advancement in technologies and spend reduction.
Yep.
Anytime we can help save money is going to be huge for a university. And
there's 2 big projects there. One is a wireless optimization. They have like a 20-year-old Calero. I don't even know what it's called. Basically a TEM system, but they're not even using it as true TEM. and they've got thousands of wireless devices, and it's cool because we're talking to the university and we're also talking to the athletic department, which is pretty cool. And so we're starting there, and then the CIO also has, as everybody knows, with the Broadcom acquisition of VMware and what VMware's done, and these big universities have huge tech labs, and that's another big project that we're working on with them, is going to be figuring out what to do with VMware and optimizing those contracts and the infrastructure there and moving to something probably a little bit more, to your point, cap or OpEx, and a little bit more flexible with what they're doing. So those are going to be pretty cool projects.
Yeah. And it is a pretty big university too. So, it'll be a good catalyst for us to dive a little bit more into LSU and some other maybe SEC and other, Power 4, maybe Group of 5 type conferences too. So Tulane, you know what I'm saying? We could call in you too. But yeah, I'm super excited because just completely out of, like, you and I have grown up in commercial and the enterprise. We've never really did anything with state and local or federales. So this is kind of a new purview for us, and trying to figure out, the contract situations and what you can and cannot do. And, it's just like, man, the government.
The interesting thing in that, they're like, you can't even just be a free agent, if you will, a broker. Because we were going to just help them out on the wireless piece. We weren't going to put a full awesome as a service contract in front of them. We were like, let us just, as a foot in the door, let us do your wireless environment. They're like, you can't help us with that. We have to pay you. And we're like, well, it's fine. We're going to get paid by, they're like, no, we have to pay you. We're like, okay, well, how much? And they're like, probably like $70,000 a year or whatever it ended up being. And we're like, okay, we'll charge you $70,000 a year. It's interesting, though, that they can't, just the way that the government works. Which makes sense.
It makes super sense. It makes super sense because just the amount of money that they waste. You're like, okay, yep, we're seeing it now. Like,
yeah,
that's actually happening. So
literally,
and I mean, we'll fix that. We have some ideas.
All right, last question. I guess being like, what have you learned about yourself in being a leader of people? And, I think when we started our company, it was just us. We're like, oh, we're good at sales. We can go do this. And then you start hiring people, and I think it's a challenge. Everybody's different. Everybody has different emotions. Nobody cares as much about the company as you and I ever will. And that's fine. And I think we've learned a lot. We've learned a lot about our weaknesses more than I think we've learned how to be better necessarily. But I think that's part of the learning curve, is figuring out what you're good at, what you're not good at, and continually work on it. But I don't know, how is being a leader of people changed over your time at Lava, and how do you feel like you've changed?
I don't know if I've actually changed at all. I think that, and maybe that's good or bad, but I also see myself not as a leader in a sense of being able to 100% set direction, and like, I've learned that I need somebody to help me lead other people in the organization. That is why I've learned about myself, is that, it's kind of similar to, and I am not comparing myself to Peyton Manning, but it'd be kind of like Peyton Manning probably would be a terrible quarterbacks coach or a terrible offensive coordinator, yada, just because he did it at such a high level. His expectations are so high, and like, he just expects everybody to just get what he gets. And like, why can't you do what I do? Why can't you make everybody like you? Why can't you just do this spreadsheet this way? Why can't you do that? Instead of like, hey, I need to help coach you, and I need to help do this better. I need to help develop you. And I would say that the skills that I've learned is I need to learn how to help people develop, right? Like I was telling you earlier with the high school kids, maybe it's just some of these coaches don't know how to develop these kids, right? They're just so focused on just winning games.
Right.
Like, who gives a shit if you won your ninth grade, if you went 10-0 in ninth grade?
Yeah.
Nobody fucking cares.
Yeah.
But like, the development of some of our younger people at Lava, even some of our older people at Lava, like there's still development. Q, you ain't old-ish.
I said you.
Oh, yeah. You said Q.
Don't try to throw Q under the bus. I was calling you old.
But I think that there's always room for development, and there's room for us to develop as well, as leaders. And, we've joined some groups where we've kind of got to talk to other leaders and what are they doing? And, even some things as simple as at what point do you need an HR department?
Mm-hmm.
We don't know when we're there, so just talking to other owners and other leaders of what that looks like. So for me, I'd say, I don't think anything is ever going to change me as a person. I'm still going to be, my wife calls me her fourth child. I'm still inappropriate, still like to have fun, but I do know how to get serious when we need to get serious. And I think that is something that has changed in me over the last even 6 years too, of not everything is always going to be willy-nilly, funny, silly, yada, yada. Like, there's a time to get serious. There's a time to get shit done. And then there's time for playing. So that for me. What about yourself?
I don't know. I mean, I've learned a lot over trying to manage and lead people. I'm definitely more of a rigid personality than you are, and I take things very seriously. And I've definitely learned. I mean, I've learned to tone down some of those thoughts or things to the point of the Peyton Manning thing, where it's like, why don't you know how to do this, or why does this not come naturally to you? It's frustrating. It seems, elementary to me to some degree, certain things, but there's certain things that I can't do, like you and your organization. Like, if you look at my organization, you're like, what the hell is wrong with you? And I'm like, I don't know, but it's just a skill that I don't have, right, like you do. I think one of the things that has helped me a lot with at least making people feel heard, seen, appreciated, is kind of going back to the love languages, which I don't know if you know what yours are, but one of the things I think you should take the little analysis. But I think that it's good to know in your core employees of what their love language is. Most obviously not physical touch, but most importantly, is it like words of affirmation? Is it gift giving, quality time, that kind of stuff? Because like Mel, I'm sure she wouldn't mind me saying, she said, one of hers is words of affirmation. Like, it's very important for her to be told that she did a really good job. She gave me feedback that she presented at our SKO, and I thought she did amazing. And when she walked by me, I was like, great job. And that was it. And so she was like, that's it? Great job? And I loved it. I thought it was amazing. Sure. But I didn't express that to her. And so it left her feeling like, I don't know, is that good job,
Is a fist bump all I get?
So knowing who of your employees really needs I don't necessarily need words of affirmation. I have different love languages, but some employees really need words of affirmation. Some of them like gifts. Some of them like to be given a bonus or a gift card for doing something really good. Yeah. Some people don't want a gift card. They don't like gifts. They would rather be told that they did a really good job. You know what I mean? To hear that. So yeah. I think that's helped. I've tried to apply a little bit of that into leadership. And then to your point, like, no one is ever going to be as good at the things that I'm really good at as me. To some degree, there's just certain things that I'm really, really good at, and I can't expect everybody to be this at the same level. And I'm not necessarily gonna be able to teach everybody that, because it's years and years and years of learning. Especially our industry can be a lot of pirate warfare with like figuring out how to get deal registration or figuring out channel nuances or whatever. That I don't have time to teach somebody. I'm gonna go do it myself. And I think that I've learned to be okay with that and to just figure out where I can jump in and support and not be frustrated that somebody doesn't know how to do it. But I don't think either of us are ever going to necessarily become these amazing leaders of human beings. I think if we can figure out how to kind of silo our strengths and really focus on those, and then hire leaders that make up those weaknesses of ours and continue to guide people. Because it's challenging. Everybody's different. Everybody's emotional, including us. Everybody has feelings. And when you put all these human beings together into one organization, it's never going to be perfect, right. But
and it can't be perfect. I mean, it's just everybody. And you could have 364 great days, and then you're going to have a shitty day. Mm-hmm. And that's okay.
Yeah.
Like, and you got to. And everybody has to be okay with that. If you want to just lock yourself in your office and don't talk to anybody that day, cool. If you want to just not talk to anybody in general, that's okay. But if you want to all of a sudden be social butterfly and talk to everybody every day, and like whatever floats your boat, I'm happy for whatever. And again, we're all different.
Yeah.
And that is trying to figure out those differences and how people do like to be talked to and how they like to be treated. And like a big thing for me, this is for me personally, and I think I get annoyed when people aren't like this, is I don't like to have to be told the same thing twice, because it means that either I wasn't paying attention or it wasn't important enough to me or whatever. But I try not to have to ask somebody to tell me how to do something twice. Like and it's not just work stuff. It is personal stuff too. If I am working on a golf swing, if the dude tells me I need to hold the club this way, I don't ever want to go in there the third time I'm in there and have him have to tell me, hey, you're holding the clubs wrong. Like, no, bitch, I'm holding them exactly how you told me to, right? Because I'm like, if this is the way it's supposed to be and this is how I'm going to be best at it, I'm going to hold the club this way. And so after that first time he told me that, I'm a good listener.
Yeah.
I'm a really good listener and then follower of that kind of stuff. Like, you tell me how to do that stuff, I'm going to get it done. So then when, you got to tell somebody multiple times of doing the same thing, you're like, man, are you just not getting it? You're not listening? You don't care enough? That's one of the few things that gets me a little bit frustrated. Yeah. There's not a lot that gets me frustrated. You talk about my kids and my wife, I'm gonna cut your ass. But that's one of the very few things that actually gets me like a little frustrated.
Really?
So
see, I think I'm right there with you, but I'm a little bit different in that I think that I don't want to have to be told twice. I don't want to have to tell somebody twice, but I think that twice is the magic number. Because I think if I tell you something once, like, all right, you got it, but there's so many things going on, especially if it's a complicated task or a complicated thing, that the second time is like the solidification. It's like, oh, I got it now. Sometimes people forget, and maybe that could help you with, having a little bit of more leniency in it. That maybe it is twice. Because I know we've had to review things, and sometimes it takes me multiple times to get something. But so twice maybe you don't want to be told twice, but maybe twice is the magic number for like actually hammering home whatever that is.
Well, they say one is the loneliest number.
That is definitely true. What the hell else was I going to ask you? I don't remember. So in closing, this is awesome. And I want you to give a 30-second pitch for As a Service World, not podcast, just.
Oh boy, now you put me on the spot here.
Right.
As a Service World, you're going to learn from your peers and from some of the vendors that you may not have heard of that are making an impact in IT for the better. For the better.
For the better.
And it is the opportunity to learn not only trends, but what are your peers' like issues and how are they fixing them? It is not going to be something where you're just going to learn about another widget, learn about how things are being fixed for some things, but it is literally going to be the opportunity for you to talk to your peers for as much as you want to. It is all about learning. This thing is going to be 100% all about learning industry trends, learning how people are solving problems, learning what you should be paying for things, because people are going to be talking about, hey, I got that UCAS. How much you paying? And so it's just going to be an opportunity for everybody to come together in this like harmonious as a service. It is nothing to do with being products thrown down your throat. It has nothing to do with just random speeches that you've heard before. This is literally going to be something that you have just never had the opportunity to attend before in our nation's capital. And it's just, I'm super excited for customers to be able to just chat with each other and have the ability to just learn from each other and see what they're doing and how they're doing it.
Yeah. Well, so no, As a Service World is going to be a huge event, inaugural event for us, and we're bringing together the world leaders in as a service solutions. Everything on the stage is going to be outcome driven. So we're going to have a lot of CIOs, CISOs, or CISOs, procurement leaders, and we're going to be talking about outcomes as it relates to deploying as a service solutions. So getting away from the on-prem infrastructure, how do we leverage AI in the contact center What are we doing for the VMware situation, for the shortage right now and the skyrocketing prices of infrastructure? How are we solving for that? What are we doing with AI? How are we securing it? We have not only some really big organizations that are going to be in attendance, but even our sponsors that are like Zoom, as an example, is going to be one of our platinum sponsors. They're not going to have one of their salespeople on stage. They're bringing their CIO. Now you have to bring them, but they're bringing their CIO, and that's a pretty cool thing to be able to speak to the CIOs of these organizations. There's going to be networking opportunities. We have a tremendous amount of folks in healthcare, retail, manufacturing that are going to be there, and so we're going to allow that networking, the data sharing. It's going to be amazing. We've got some really cool surprises that are going to happen. Kick-ass after party, and September 24th, 2026. Be there or be square.
Got to do it. Got to be there.
Cool. Peace. The end. Great job.
That was fun. That was good.